she is negative, toxic.
What a waste of time this woman is.
Bling Empire, New York is reality TV at its finest.
Are you serious?
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
And stupid drama that for some weird reason I can't look away from. Like, I can't fathom the idea why I keep watching this show, but I just love reality TV. And what can I say? Thank you, Jersey Shore.
I don't like you.
Why don't you like me? Because I came to you as a woman and told you about your man.
No. You tell.
You
Created a monster.
But guys, one of my favorite things about watching this show is just seeing how people are just so damn petty. Like, someone literally gets upset and pretty much treats them like shit for the rest of the show because they were late to their party. I ended up binge watching this show in about 2 days, just watching these super rich Asian men and women talk about how they don't have full service in their apartment and how they have to walk downstairs and carry their own bags to the car. I mean, when I'm saying it out loud, I honestly can't believe that I watched this series. But here we are. But guys, tell me, what is your favorite reality TV show? Comment down below. So Bling Empire New York is a 10-episode spin-off of the Netflix series Bling Empire LA. And it follows a group of super elite Asian American socialites living in New York City as they navigate career, friendships, and love. Starting with Dorothy Wang. So she is the daughter of a self-made billionaire. His name is, I think, Roger Wang, I believe is his name. Her net worth is supposedly like $2.3 billion.
Well,
something absolutely nuts.
I can't believe it.
If you do recognize her, she did appear in Bling Empire LA, but in the series, she decides to move to New York in order to toughen up. I mean, I'm from New York City, guys, originally, and the place is a beast. You gotta learn how to survive and thrive in that place. It's nothing like LA. And I lived in Los Angeles as well. They are very, very different places.
What do you think about people from New York?
People are crazy.
What do you think about people from Los Angeles?
I think that they're mostly into plastic surgery.
So props to her for moving to New York because it is definitely a beast. It'll definitely be an experience, that's for sure. Then we have Tina Leung, and she is an influencer who is known as one of the Slasians of New York. Yeah, you heard that right.
The Slasians are a group of very fierce, influential Asians in New York City. Most of them are involved in fashion. They include Tina, Philip Lim, Laura Kim, Prabal Garoon, and Ezra Williams.
It's absolutely nuts. Basically, throughout this whole show, she is just like Dorothy's best friend, her right-hand woman. They are just very, very good friends.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
Then we have Lin Bon, and Lin Bon, sorry if I pronounced his names wrong. She is a jewelry designer who is known to design pieces seen on Rihanna, Beyonce, and she's married to this guy, I can't remember his name. She has one kid who we later find out is actually in a boarding school. Guys, do you know anyone who lives in a boarding school or knows somebody who grew up in a boarding school? I've always wondered, if that really affects someone's childhood. What is your childhood like? I don't know. If you know, comment down below because I've always been really, really interested. Then we have Blake Abbey. He is a Canadian, which is where I live now. Oh, Canada. And but he lives in New York City. And he's an editor of a major fashion magazine. And a main thread throughout the season is that his father passed away a year ago from winning the show. And to me, I always felt like he was the most normal one out of the group of really rich people. He just felt like the most normal. I never felt like he was very petty, or I never felt that he was very spoiled. He just felt like a real, he was rich, but I don't know, he just didn't rub me the wrong way like some other people might. Most of his story throughout the season is just him trying to figure out how he wants his family to understand that when he has a family, when he settles down, that his family might look very different. He is part of the queer community, and he's not very much I'm gonna marry a woman and have a kid. It could be anyone. Then we have Steven and Deborah Hung. Okay, Steven is a millionaire businessman. He's basically, it's an investment firm, that he deals with hospitality, real estate. So basically he has a shit ton of money. He's got straight hair, but with like weird like red highlights, and he's like in his 60s, and he's also a lot older than his wife, Deborah Hung. She's from Mexico, originally from Mexico, and she used to be a model and a lawyer, but now she has her own like, she now owns her own like Asian European like modeling agency. But they're a very interesting couple, obviously, because he's just like a lot older than her.
I don't want to, I don't want to judge. I don't want to be like, oh, she's with him with the money. I don't know. Maybe there's love there. Hopefully there is.
But they were a couple. They were. Then we have Richard, Chang, and Vika. I don't know Vika's last name. I just don't know it. Anyway, they're technically, in the whole group, they're considered like the poor ones or the regular ones, even though they're not poor. They're definitely rich, but they're just not people who come from like wealth. And Richard Chang is basically, he's the chief growth officer of this wellness clinic called Hudson Medical. And he's basically the guy who, you know, he clearly wants to be rich one day. He's creating all these connections with all these other rich people throughout the show in this group. And he comes off, and a lot of people in the show really pointed out, is that he comes off as someone who's just using people to climb the ladder. So a lot of people kind of like don't really like him. We'll get into that later. But Vika is his girlfriend, and we don't really know much about her other than the fact that she's like always with Richard, and everyone always thinks that she's like controlled by him and like can only be seen with him, and is like, which I felt bad because eventually you do find out like that that's not the case. And then lastly, we have Nam Lax, and she's basically considered the Blair Waldorf of Thailand. So yeah, she's filthy rich, and she's living in New York City. She goes to Columbia University, where she's completing her master's degree. And her like whole story throughout the whole freaking season basically is like,
my dad gonna cut me off if like I don't get a job in New York or if I don't return home to Thailand.
Really? She was like the one I least liked because she was so spoiled. She literally lives in a hotel, or lived, I'm not sure, lived in a hotel while going to school so she could get full service and get food and everything instead of living in an apartment and paying for rent and dealing with anything and having to make food. She literally never makes food, and she's literally one of the people who complains the most about having to carry her bags to the car.
What the fuck?
She was the reason why I was like, why am I watching this? She's extremely spoiled. Speaking of spoilers, guys, here are some key moments from the season that I want to talk about, so that way you don't have to watch the show. I'll just let you know everything you miss. But first, guys, if you're still watching this video and you haven't subscribed, click that notification bell so that you can continue to see my face on your screens next time I post a brand new video. So here we go. So we have Dorothy. Basically, Dorothy arrives in New York City for the first time, and guys, this was hard to watch, but she was appalled at the idea that she had to, I don't know, go to the post office herself to mail something, because in LA, her driver is the one who goes and basically mails everything for her. So she's literally asking Tina, like,
how do I, like, send something? Like, they say I have to, like, go to, like, a post office? Like, how do I do that?
Okay, so I have a package I have to return. And my building before was full service. They used to have them come, and I could like just be like, hey, can you ship this out? I asked them what to do. And I had to go to like a post office store. So do people here usually take a taxi or an Uber, and they take the box and they take a taxi and an Uber and they go to like the post office store? So tomorrow I literally have my driver coming to take me to run errands, and that's what people do here.
That's what,
I was like, oh my God, this is happening. This is happening. And basically in her first party in New York City, and this is when like the huge drama that I was talking about in the beginning of the episode like really starts. But basically, Dorothy is late to Deborah and Steven's like anniversary party, and because she is late, Deborah now has like this vendetta about her, and like basically like is turned off by her and blacklists her for like the rest of the episode and never wants to talk to her.
I didn't know who Tiffany Wong was. Dorothy. I don't know, it's just that she showed up in one of my events. Usually when you have a timing, then you respect the timing. It's an art gallery, this is not a club.
Are you leaving?
Yeah. Girl, you're like 2 hours late.
And it's actually ridiculous because this is all could be solved if they just like sat down and like talked. And to give Dorothy credit, there is a point where she finally like, because everyone like Tina is like saying like, please, like just meet with Deborah, like just get to know her, like just go out for lunch and talk. She's like, okay, fine, I'll do it for you. She actually goes to this lunch, and Deborah stands her up, just doesn't show up, and like leaves her with a letter and like pays for her meal. It's extremely awkward, and I was like, wow, this girl is taking it this seriously. Like, she really just wants nothing to do with her, like, just doesn't want to talk to her. I mean, there is some point where this guy, I think his name is Kane Lim, I forget his last name, Kane, he's from Bling Empire, LA, and he doesn't like Dorothy, and he goes on to this, on one of the episodes, and he talks to Deborah, and he's just like,
don't talk to her, she's the worst human being, she's so mean to me, she's the worst.
But of course, we need the drama, so they have to, like, let this, like, you know, really, one of the craziest moments of the show, guys, and it's a pretty crazy moment. But Tina has a full-blown panic attack at this, like, girls' vacation trip she takes in the Bahamas, which is, like, basically Dorothy was just, like, trying to, like, find her a guy. So she brings up these two guys to, like, meet her, and she freaks out, like, full-on attack.
Where'd you go?
I don't know. She, like, ran away.
Are you okay? I just don't like the attention. I don't like random guys talking to me. I get, like, trauma.
Tina, I'm so sorry.
I didn't know that it was gonna upset you.
I don't know what I felt. I have really bad men experiences. Like, everyone's really treated me badly.
Panic attack. I said, alert, someone needs some serious therapy. Like bad therapy. Another huge debacle in this show is Richard and Vika. And basically everyone in Richard's family is pressuring him to, like, propose to her, which, I mean, granted, they haven't been dating that long, and we do find out throughout, like, episodes that she's not really interested in getting married right away. Like, she really, like, loves him and loves their life together, but she's not ready to get married. Also note, she is, like, 10 years younger than Richard. But basically at the end of the show, it's, like, the last episode, and guys, this was awkward to watch. But he, like, takes her up to, like, this, like a really nice date up on the rooftop, and, like, they're all having a good, like, they're, like, having a good time. He, like, starts saying all these nice things, and, like, I'm, like, thinking, I'm like, oh my god, is he gonna propose? Oh my god, is he gonna propose? Please don't propose, this is really awkward. And Vika literally stops him in the middle of his sentence and is just like,
okay, Richard, let me ask you something before you continue. Like, are you going to propose? If you are going where I think you're going, I have to, like, stop you, okay? But everything's been happening, like, right now is not a good time, Richard. I know that you are my partner, that we will be together, we will have the future together, but right now is not a good time. I don't want to rush.
And he's just standing there, like, looking at her, and it was so uncomfortable and awkward to watch. Like, it was uncomfortable. I was like, stop. And then the crazy thing is, like, this is the last episode, so you really don't know, like, what happened after that, because it was the last episode, it was the last scene you saw of them together. Cliffhanger, Bling Empire. Cliffhanger, okay. But then we also have this huge fight and misunderstanding that is also, like, a huge thread throughout the whole season between Dorothy, Tina, and Richard over the fact, oh lord, anyway, over the fact that he was basically offering, like, his free services to, like, the wellness clinic that he works for to Tina and Dorothy, because they kept complaining, like, oh, we can't sleep, we're having a lot of anxiety, and he calls them up and is like, hey, like, I can set this up for you at our wellness clinic, like, come on by, I can set it up for you, etc., etc. So he, for some odd reason, thinks that they're, like, sure, we'll do it, even though they didn't really confirm, but he's just assuming that they're going. So he sets up this whole day for them at the wellness clinic, the doctors come and everything, and they just don't show up at all. Like, they just don't go.
How could friends put me in the position to look so bad at work when I go out on a limb for them? No reasonable person wouldn't say, hey, I can't make it. It's one thing if we're at a bar, we're at dinner with friends, but, like, it's ridiculous. This is a workplace. This is a medical practice. Like, I have my whole team preparing. It's completely tone deaf. Never again.
And they're just showing him, like, calling him, and he is just pissed because they just never showed up. Now, granted, it does come out later that, like, they're like,
well, we didn't go because, you know, you come off salesy and not genuine, and it just seems like you just wanted us to go so that we can, like, put out a good word for your wellness company, and we just didn't like that.
And, like, I get that he does come off kind of salesy sometimes because he is, like, really trying to promote his business. But if you're not gonna go, at least tell the guy. Don't have him, like, set up and then, like, just don't show up. Like, that was effed up on their part. Like, if you feel that way, like, great, that's fine. You feel that way, but at least tell the guy you're not going. And then we have this moment with Lynn, who just full on tells Vika that she's brainwashed by Richard. Like, she literally said,
He called, like, I'm acting stupid because this is something I can regret later.
But that's his opinion. See, you're like brainwashed. I mean, no offense, ridiculous, and you have to get out of your head that he's just protecting me. I mean, it sounds like an emotional abuse.
Son of a bitch!
You are brainwashed. I was like, girl, I get it. I mean, like, if you and Vika have been best friends for over 10 years, even 5 years, like, you're really good friends, I get it. I understand you're looking out for your girl. But I just met you. Like, I don't really know you. Like, how are you coming into my relationship telling me that I have an abusive, like, guy, that I'm brainwashed, like, just because you see me with this guy all the time? At the same time, when you find out about, like, her own relationship, I'm like, girl, you're in a weird relationship yourself. So that's my next thing I'm jumping into next, because I want to talk about this guy. So Lynn's husband is very weird. Like really, really odd. And he has, like, no filter, kind of like her. And he's very ignorant, especially to the whole queer community. Like, just ignorant.
So, like, are you gay?
No, queer.
No?
I'm taking this off.
No, you just don't ask people if their sexuality. You just don't do that. You don't need to.
So you just hit on them.
I'm interested in men and women and non-binary people and trans men and trans women. So for me, the better term is queer.
An equal opportunity humper.
But yes, equal opportunity.
And at the end of the season, he basically full on, like, walks out on Lynn because he tells her at, like, the rap party or something like that he got this new job in LA and that they're moving.
I met someone in London, and they offered me a great job in Los Angeles. They want me to move immediately. And we're moving to Los Angeles.
I'm not moving to Los Angeles.
Seriously? Like, the first opportunity I get in 25 years, and you're, like, shooting it down. You didn't even, like, hear me out, you know? Thanks for being so supportive, huh?
You make these decisions as a couple, as a family.
But guys, it was like the worst timing. Like, they were literally, like, taking a photo, and out of nowhere, he just goes up to her and he's like, hey, so I have to tell you something. Oh, God, this is awkward. It was so weird. And like, I think he was, like, intoxicated or something. I don't know. But he was freaking weird. And I did not like it. There's even a moment in this in the show where he takes Richard to a sex shop to kind of, like, loosen him up and have fun with him. But it's, like, weird because he kind of, like, spits out these, like, very sexual, like, innuendos to Richard. He's, like, kind of, like, flirting with him and, like, hitting on him almost while he tries on, like, sex toys and stuff. I was very uncomfortable, and I needed it to end.
Manspank.
We're gonna do this together.
Oh, Richard, I didn't know you felt that way.
So how long have you been a couple?
Oh, for about 13 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the top.
I could tell with the...
We haven't talked about that yet, Jet.
You're not the kind of rich that makes me hard, okay?
Nope, I'm not about this. I don't understand what's going on. So in the end, Bling Empire New York was a very awkward, but yet not horrible watch. In my opinion, it's better than Bling Empire LA. I only watched the first season. I wasn't a huge fan, so I just didn't continue watching. But I think it's just for me, I will say, I prefer watching reality TV shows on Netflix that are more about, like, finding love, which is, like, you know, I love Love is Blind, like, things like that, you know, because in my opinion, it's a little sad to watch these people live in a world where they're pretty, like, ignorant to real world problems almost. Like, here they are complaining about that fact that they have to carry their bags down the stairs when there are, like, most of the people in New York City could barely afford their, like, rent for a studio that is probably the size of just, like, their kitchen. So it's just, like, seeing, like, how ignorant, like, and spoiled these people are. Not everyone, but, like, it seems like a lot of them are. It just kind of, like, turns me off because I just can't believe that they can act like this when there's, like, really, really bad other bad stuff happening, you know? At least for me, at least Love is Blind centers around like finding love. Like no matter how crazy the premise is. I mean, the premise is absolutely nuts. Like I get that, but at least it's like more about finding love and like, I don't know, it's just like a different premise and it's just more exciting for me to watch. But guys, speaking of Love is Blind After the Altar premieres on February 10th, and I will be watching and recapping it on this channel. So if you're interested in seeing my recap to season 3, watch this video over here.